this is Phil Gibbs from OpenMake Software, and in this video we're going to show you some of the highlights of Release Engineer 7.7, our spanking new release. Now what you can do with this is you can attach change requests from tools such as Bugzilla or GitHub or Jira at the moment. You can connect those to applications and components. So what that gives you is the ability to track change requests on particular applications or components. Now we're looking at it from an application point of view here, and you can see that these change requests are actually listed against individual components. Now you can go straight to that component. We'll just go to IT Guys DB and look at the change requests in there, and you can see we've got two change requests, 140 and 145, and they are these are hyperlinks. So if I click on those, it'll go and open it up, and in this case it's GitHub. You can also have different change requests, different change request systems being used at different components. So we've got the database one is using GitHub. This one is using Jira, the application. And so if you have two different teams developing different components, they can use their own change request tracking tool, right? So we don't insist on one tool being used across the whole application. Individual component development teams can use their own tools if that's what's required. At the top here you get the usual burn down chart, so we can see as things are added, the chart obviously grows in height, and as the status changes, the dark area grows downwards to indicate that the change request has been closed. Actually, we do a regular poll, so you don't have to push from the change request tracking tool. Once it's set up in Release Engineer, that polls regularly to see whether the status is still the same, and if it's changed status, it'll update Release Engineer automatically. So you don't have to actually install anything to do a push or anything like that from the tracking system. Once you've attached a tracking tool, you can add change requests manually just by clicking the plus button. That will list you all the open change requests, and then you can just select which ones you want and click OK, and it will add it automatically. So you can do that at a component level, as we're seeing here. You can, if you look at this from an application point of view, you can see that all of that is pulled together. So we collate all that information from across different tools. So here we're using GitHub, here we're using Jira, but we know what status each one is referring to, whether it be open, in progress, or closed. We categorize it appropriately, and so here you can see the burn down chart operating across multiple change request tools. So from an application point of view, you can see the number of outstanding change requests for an individual application, and you can do that by pulling in the change requests for the underlying components. Now that gives us the ability to bundle that together into a release. So if I look at a release now, and you'll see this release has got 3 applications, as was it, Fizz App, Game of Life, and version 2 of IT Guys. Now, in the previous versions of Release Engineer, you could assemble a release and make it out of however many application versions you wanted, and deploy that release, or schedule that release to be deployed against an environment calendar. And that was pretty much it. That was the end of what you could do with the release in 7.6. Well, in 7.7 we can bring those change requests together. So we can now pull all the change requests for the underlying applications. So when you look at the release, you can see how many change requests are outstanding, how many are closed, and that's across all the applications that are forming that release. So at a glance, that gives you a much better indication about the state of play of the release.
Thank you for viewing our recorded demo. For more information, you can contact us at request-info@openmakesoftware.com. You can also visit our website at www.openmakesoftware.com for white papers and other demos on Release Engineer and Meister, our DevOps solutions.